Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship. My name is Stephen Koenig. Glad you're joining us here for round 2 at the beautiful Spain. Welcome to Valencia. Go and pull up a seat. Enjoy all the action. We're in for an absolute wild ride of tons of exciting action. But with that being said, we got qualifying at the moment, and let's head down to the track and for Tim to start bringing up that audio so we can listen to the beautiful engines screaming their way around as we take a look at Tiernas Buerta, currently running in 3rd place. Johan Kleinans puts himself at the top of the charts, switching over from the Mustang last season over to the Ferrari 296. Gideon Reina going and beating him out and putting himself at the top of the charts. Fleming Bauer into 4th place as Luke Addison out the blocks comes into 1st place, 130.3. Had a phenomenal night last night for the PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series, coming 1st place, breaking away early on from Tariq Adam and also the likes of Bernard Barques. And let's see if we can do that again tonight. But we do have a couple of interesting factors coming in because we have to also talk about a big welcome back to a former champion here at RaceFace.Pro. And I'm not talking about Jordan Sherritt, who's currently out on track, who we saw on track. Yeah, he's definitely been a former champion, but one that stepped out of the shadows and went and moved his way up. Also represented South Africa overseas, missed the first round, but has come back with a vengeance. We have got Cody Sherritt, who's out on track, this time sporting the Omnis Gaming colors. Welcome back, Cody. Glad to have you here. It's going to be a great one as you put yourself into 1st place, running 0.4 of a second faster than Luke Addison. And Fleming Bauer now going and losing out as Bernard Barques and immediately puts himself at the top of the chart with a 129. Tariq Adam coming at him with a 129.8. And these two have got some big beef they wish to go and serve up here tonight. Very close on track limits as they had to battle it out for over 45 minutes. Yesterday, they were nose to tail and giving it everything they got until the very end. And that was essentially it. It was separated by 0.1 of a second. Jordan Sherritt at the top of the chart, so trying to break away. Let's go back to round 1. He landed up with a disconnect, and that was him out of the race. It opened up the championship where Luke Addison actually got the win. Tariq Adam followed up into 2nd place, and Cody Sherritt going and running in 3rd. So that's, Cody Sherritt, who is now rejoining. So, Cody Sherritt in 5th place, Giovanni Porzera in 6th place, 7th is Fleming Bauer, Chris Stolz running in 8th place at the moment. Henk van den Berg, who has been on a great charge at the moment and going and make his way through. Gideon Reina lying in 11th as it's all changed up. I've got to say, though, there was a very, very extensive message that was sent to me a little bit earlier today, and that was from Giovanni. And I have to do it right. It's Giovanni Porzio getting that absolute run and looking to really step it up. Actually going and making a bet with me, saying when he gets the win, we're going to interview him with a chocolate milkshake. I'm looking forward to that. We are looking at about 39 cars currently going around the track. Michael Donaldson also returning to the circuit in the bleed green colors, but this time is in the nitro. Kieran Patterson a little bit further down, had a fantastic race last night. A little bit of contact with Bego Krobler did take him out of the running, and they had to fight their way through. Duplessis looking to really put on the charge for the Rigoli Esports. Also had a phenomenal run last night, but it's going to be a different situation here in our pro split. So keep an eye out on all the action, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be heating up. Jordan Sherritt in the pits, getting himself sorted out. Bernard Barques hoping that he can just push himself a little bit more. Can he get across the line to get that way into 1st place? Not quite this time. Still holding on to that 2nd place. A 129.63 compared to Jordan Sherritt's 129.435. So close to one another. Cody Sherritt looking to not go and back up his brother in this situation. He's looking to go and put himself to the top of the charts. It's going to be a difficult one, as we do know Cody Sherritt doesn't back down from a fight, but going and sporting a new livery and also in a different sort of car to what he's used to. So let's go and keep an eye out on that one and see how it goes. Luke Addison running in 4th place, trying to pick up the pace, understand where things are going. We did hear that the Ferrari started having a little bit of a tough time when it got closer to 45 minutes on the set of tires. All drivers going and saying the same thing. We're not going to go and single stint tires. We are going to try and get a little bit more up the road. Luke Addison did point out his Achilles heel had to be the last left right just before you get to the main straight, and this is where it is, where everyone's just running a little bit too far over the curb, bounces over, loses out that little bit of time. So it's going to be a difficult one for everyone to try and work their way through. Tariq Adam going and losing out a little bit of time. He's going to try and make his way through. So as Jordan Sherritt, Bernard Barkhuizen, and Cody Sherritt, Luke Addison, Tariq Adam, Giovanni Porzio, Fleming Bauer, Gideon Reyna in 8th place, Henry Mayer, our defending champion, down in 9th. Chris Stolz in 10th place, Christoph Peterson in 11th, Gerrit Bukes running in 12th, 13th is Henke van der Berg, Hannes van Wyk, Daniel de Villiers in 15th. He is going to be charging out in that Nissan GTR. Mark van Rensburg is running in 16th, with Dean Nokia, after repairing his PC, going through a turmoil of events yesterday to eventually get it all running in 17th. He now moves himself up into 13th. 18th is Rian van der Race, followed by Ryan Barrington Smith, Issam Domingo, Johan Kleinans, Werner Skuman, Johan Blicknote, going and having a bit of fun, Kwandu Pasi, Tianas Buerta, Harry van Zel, Christian Venter going and making a bit of a climb, Jason Farmer, Vietia Buerta going and making his run in qualifying. This would be his first qualifying on Valencia. Unfortunately, wasn't able to qualify yesterday, had a qualifying ban, so this is his first time in true anger with a low fuel tank. Andre Seradio in 31st, 32nd, Jude Neville, Henry Platz, Ian Upton, along with Paul the Wall Fenter. He has been from everywhere. Whether you're going and sitting in Bloemfontein, whether you're sitting at Lichtenberg, he's done it all today. So now sick and tired of driving, gets it into his simulator because driving's different here. Chris Heineke running at 36, 37, Darren Miller, Michael Donaldson, and Brandon Kruger rounding out the pack. But so far, Sherritt absolutely dominating the pack with that 129.4. Bernard Barkhuizen still not able to put the time in. But take a look at Cody Sherritt in terms of lap times. His best lap time was a 129.680. Bernard Barkhuizen, a 129.630. That is incredibly close. Luke Addison running with a 129.780. And with Tariq Adam running a 129.847. So our top fives, all in that 129 mark. From then, it's Henry Mayer with a 130 dead. Was Giovanni with a 130.02 as he came across to get that lap time on his previous, but his best has been that 130.012. And Fleming Bauer running with a 131 on the last lap time with a 130.137. So great stuff for him. But taking a look to our virtual grandstands, absolutely everyone standing and getting wild. And I really could see one person that's been following the tour all the way around the world, and that is Antonio Gamble going and saying, how's it? Absolutely incredible stuff, going and giving a huge amount of support to one and the only, and I think starting to develop the name as a legend, is Jason Farmer. So Jason Farmer getting the huge amount of support. It's always Jason Farmer, well done, good luck, go for it. And then afterwards it's, oh, there's the rest of the team, the GSR team, good luck to the Griffin Sim Racing. So always good to see our super fans out there going and rooting for our drivers as we fight it out for round 2 of the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship here at Valencia. Very technical circuit, very follow the leader sort of circuit. You're going to have to manage your tires, manage your fuel, and watch your right front. It will take a huge hammering throughout the circuit and will be a bit of a rough one, which many drivers can attest to, including Keegan Sanderson, who has done it numerous times, battled it out to try and run the tires to its absolute limits. I think going back, the record in terms of keeping on a set of tires throughout the race was about an hour, if I remember correctly. That was during an endurance race on cooler conditions. Well, it is a blistering 29 degrees track temperature, 22 degrees Celsius air temperature as Fleming Bauer throwing the McLaren around, and that tail just not working out for him. Jordan Sherritt currently the fastest in all sectors at the moment. Can he maintain that pace? Well, we're going to have to keep a very close eye. Henry Mayer, though, has picked up the pace. 0.1 faster than his personal best at the moment through the second sector into the third. Now just running out. Oh, a little too far. Invalidates the lap on the way. Just not able to do it. That understeer comes into play every single time. The moment you push it a little bit too hard, it's one of those tricky corners that if you go and push a little bit too out of your comfort zone, the car's going to naturally understeer, and you're just going to either run wide on the exit of the final corner, or you're going to run into the gravel trap as you're pushing just too much into that brake markers. You've got to be a little bit more patient around it, and that's why Valencia has always had very difficult circuit. Seen major crashes in real life GT3 action, but we've also seen how the bikes are able to go 4 wide. Well, we can't quite do it this time. Werner Skuman, though, out into the dirt. He is in the Mustang, and saying that is pretty much the best he's got for the Pandacity team at the moment, and is going to concentrate on the race. Bernard Barkhuizen still chasing down that elusive 129.4. He's running that 129.6. It's holding second place. Bernard Barkhuizen missing out the championship by, I think it was sitting at 4 points, and missed out his chance on 150,000 Rand cash and PokerBet credits to him. But that got won by Henry Mayer. So this time around, going to be a different ball game, as Bernard Barkhuizen is in for a shout. Tariq Adam leads out the championship going into this race, with Luke Addison in second, Bernard Barkhuizen in third. So we're going to have to keep an eye out on those. And Giovanni Porzio is running in 7th position at the moment. He's running 4th in the championship, with the defending champion in 5th, Henry Mayer, who is way down the order than planned. He's currently running in 6th place and just not finding that time. A 130 dead, hasn't been able to break it out. Now needs to push it a little bit harder, runs out a little bit wide, can't quite keep it all together. Going to come across the line, unfortunately, not enough, as our marshals going signaling that there's cars stopped out on track as they're getting themselves towed back to the pits because they just run out of fuel. They are running these tanks to the bare minimum that even the fuel light is turning off at this point. You're just saying, you know what, try your own hand at it, as they got 20 seconds left of the qualifying before they're going to have to get themselves ready for an hour and 20 minutes worth of racing. And it's going to be top to bottom chasing. It's going to be top to bottom racing. It's going to be that hard fight right the way through. But Jordan Sherritt comes across the line at 129.3, bettering his own lap time by just 0.1 of a second, but it's 0.1 of a second away from the rest of the field. Cody Sherritt comes across the line. He's unable to improve, doing 129.6. Can Bernard Barkhuizen carry the momentum through as he chases it down? As we jump on board with the helmet, understeer, lots of turning angle, fighting the McLaren on the way through, just not able to get it, the grip to go with him onto the knife's edge, over the curbs, trying to carry every bit of momentum. Final corner, long left-hander, run it out very wide, drop the gears down, turn it onto the apex and boot the throttle. Oh no, just far too much, and the rear end stepping out on the way through, so that is not going to help him out. Car's still currently trying to get a lap in. Chris Stall's 0.1 up on his personal best, as everyone's starting to try and make their way through, and I think he's the only one, bar one, Chris Heineke, for the Griffin Sim Racing team. He is running 0.7 above his personal best, trying to jump out of that 38th position. Can he do it though? Following in tow, comes across the line, and yes, jumps up to 33rd position. Absolutely great stuff for him. And now Crystal's a Delta negative. The beautiful purple shining its way through here at Valencia will be coming across the line. 0.1 faster than his personal best. Can he get into that top 10? The elusive top 10? And does. 8th place. Absolutely great job as they all come through, getting themselves ready. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you're just as excited as I am, because it's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy right here at the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship Round 2 at Valencia. Very hot circuit, 1 hour and 20 minutes of racing. As said, 2 mandatory pit stops are going to really challenge the drivers of when are you going to get into the box and when is those pit stops going to work out for tire changes, because it needs to happen. Running on a set of tires here is just going to absolutely kill you off. But the track has cooled down a little bit, 26 degrees, as our cars start lining up on the grid. So, with this being said, let's keep an eye out on all the action. But taking a look over to our virtual grandstands, glad to have you guys here. Make sure you go and take a look at the links below, because we do have live timing brought up by Pitwall. They're going and showing all the live timing, all the action that you can follow through. And we have also got the likes of our affiliate link for the PokerBet. And make sure you go and join there. Win big this Halloween with PokerBet, and also win big with this Diwali, because that's coming up as well. So if you're going to celebrate Diwali next week, happy Diwali, and for those who enjoy Halloween, happy Halloween. For those who are just enjoying the days, always it's great to have a nice day. Well, we're going to be getting ready to rock and roll. We're going to be heading down to the grid and taking a look at all the action very, very soon as they start getting those final prep to get the cars ready for their race. And beautiful overview shot of our GT3s all lined up on the line, ready to go. And if we look down the field as everyone joins up, 38 cars looking to start. Unfortunately, one retirement has pretty much dropped out, but still 38 cars. Tight circuit is going to be a difficult one. Who's going to be able to charge their way through the running order? I've got a funny feeling Jordan Sherritt has put in the time, but Bernard Barkhuizen is looking pretty feisty out there. Don't count out Cody Sherritt. It's been a very, very long time since we've seen Cody Sherritt and Jordan Sherritt share the same circuit. And that is going to be a bit of a challenging one because family matters come into it. We had the Fafia's family having that exact same problem last night where father and son got to do it. Well, it's time for the brother duo as they roll off the line to start their warm-up lap. And let's go through the grid for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship. And it's Jordan Sherritt leading out the pack with Bernard Barkhuizen in second place. Cody Sherritt running in third. Luke Addison, Tariq Adam, Henry Mayer, Giovanni Porzio, Christoph Peterson going to be running in ninth place with Christian Fenter chasing him down. Fleming Bauer in 11th. Gideon Reyna in 12th. Kieran Patterson running in 13th. Johan Kleinans is running in 14th. Hannes van Wyk running in 15th, followed by Gerrit Bukes, Johan Blicknoot, Mark Jans van Rensburg, Henko van den Berg, Van der Plessis for the Rally Esports, Daniel de Villiers of PWSR going and looking to charge his way through the only Nissan GTR this season, might I add. So he's taken the Godzilla to fight it out. Werner Skuman going to be chasing him down in the Mustang. Rian van der Race, Ryan Barrington Smith, Issam Domingo of Project Vapor, followed by Jason Farmer. Yes, because we have to add the emphasis there for our superfans out in the crowd. And Jude Neville running in 27th position. 28th is Henry Platz, followed by Tienas Buerta, Harry Van Zyl, Brandon Kruger, Chris Heineke, Vietia Buerta, Andre Serradio, Paul the Wall Fenter. Paul, I've had enough of driving Fenter, more like it. Going all the way from Lichtenberg to Joburg. The poor man has been behind the steering wheel all day long. Ian Upton in 36th position, Darren Miller in 37th, and Michael Donaldson rounding out the pack, the newly signed on this gaming. While this is all going on, we do want to say a bit of a caution, a bit of a sorry tale for those that know Claudio Piazzamusa, that unfortunately has passed away during the course of the day. Condolences from the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship. Well, let's get ready to start off the race as Jordan Sherritt and Bernard Barkhuizen line side by side coming around the final corner. This is going to be an absolutely wild one. This is going to be exciting as our drivers get themselves ready. Lights on. We wait for the green. Jordan Sherritt is holding the pack. 70 kilometers now. Get yourselves in line. And when it all goes green, it's all about getting to turn one the quickest, as it's crucial around Valencia. Lights on, lights on, lights on. And we wait for it. Lights off and away we go racing. Jordan Sherritt off to a little bit of a slow start with the Mustang. And we can immediately see Luke Addison trying to push the charge. Cody Sherritt not going to be backing down from the fight. But Bernard Barkhuizen tucks himself in behind Jordan Sherritt and is defending against Luke Addison and Cody Sherritt. Now Tariq Adam looking to try and get into the fight as Luke Addison takes it to the top. Goes around the outside. Can he carry the momentum? The Ferrari's got a lot of rotation to it, but he's going to have to get past a very burly V8 that's not backing down. Cody Sherritt with a bit of a pass has got it done and dusted, but Bernard Barkhuizen in the McLaren sends it up on the inside, gets it done, and Cody Sherritt into the dirt. That's allowed Tariq Adam to go and line up side by side and take the fight. These two are going to be absolutely brawling with one another. Former teammates have gone by. now needing to go and be rivals and going late on the brakes. Tariq Adam doing everything he can to fight it out with Cody Sherritt, who has been really doing everything he can, trying to shake off a little bit of that ring rust at the moment. Runs out a bit wide, and that's allowing Chris Stolz running in 6th place for Delta Negative to stay in with the fight as Cody Sherritt looks to go for a bit of an undercut. Jordan Sherritt not breaking away from Luke Addison, who's looking to prove his name against him and will be chasing down. Jordan Sherritt, for many people that don't know, is currently the 2024 Africa Esports Cup champion. And that was done by MSA at the beginning of the year. He's won that title for 2024, but we do have a car in the pits. And waiting, that is Dean Nokia, oddly enough, that is in pit lane and is now waiting to get back out. So something's gone on with him. Luke Addison chasing down Jordan Sherritt has to change his view to Bernard Barkhazen running in 3rd place. 4th place is Tariq Adam, followed by Cody Sherritt. Chris Stolz, Giovanni Porzero going and dealing with Christian Fenter, who gets a major tank slapper on the way through, managing to catch it, but that's allowed Henry Mayer to close up the gap. Gideon Renner running in 10th. Kieran Patterson trying to put up a little bit of fight, but getting those tires to heat up is turning into a bit of a difficult run as Johan Kleinart's all over the back of him. Christoph Peterson, Mark Jans van Rensburg chasing down. And then a little bit further back, we got Johan Blicknote, who's keeping up with the Mustang. He's got Ryan Barrington-Smith chasing him down. Kwan Duplessis running in 17th. And Werner Skuman keeping the pressure in there. Daniel De Villiers, Jason Farmer, huge train as they build up. Henry Plutt in 21st. 22nd, Chris Haneke, Jude Neville, Issam Domingo, Hannes van Veek, along with Rian for the race. But we do have a few little problems coming in as Gerrit Bukes pulls into the pits. Hinker van der Berg comes into the pits. And here comes Dean Nokia getting out of pit lane, trying to serve those pit stops. But unfortunately, the only time that you get to serve them is 10 minutes after the flag goes down. So they have to wait another 7 minutes before you get into the pits. Unfortunately for those 3 cars, bit of a quick repair it seems like to get them all sorted out, but unfortunately is going to impact their race because they're going to have to do another pit stop. That's going to turn it up to 3 pit stops, not ideal situations, and drivers are going to be battling out. Henry Mayer going and keeping ahead of Christian Fenter, but Christian not hanging about, looks up on the inside. Can he get the run into turn 1? Tries to put his nose in to force Henry Mayer a little bit wide. He loses out a bit of time. Gideon Rayner, though, switching left, switching right, trying to figure his way through. Tries to go around the outside of Christian Fenter. Couldn't get that pass done and dusted. He's going to have to think a little bit clever on this one. How is he going to get underneath him? Where is he going to fight? As Kieran Patterson also trying to chase him down on the way through. A huge train, though. Johan Blicknote still keeping ahead of Ryan Barrington-Smith. This is from 15th all the way down to 20th position. So our drivers hoping that they can properly lay into one another and find their way through. But this is where I'm going to have to say a bit of a change-up is required for the drivers. Pushing to the limits, great stuff, always want to see it. But what is it going to do to your tires? Remember, this is an hour and 20 minutes worth racing. Mandatory 2 pit stops. You can only do your first pit stop after the first 10 minutes of the race. And that means you got to try and protect the tires as long as you can. Are you going to change tires in your first pit stop? Which we should roughly see about 45 minutes, get into the box, swap out those tires, and then get a fresh set of boots on, do your final pit stop as a splash and dash. We may see another way around, depending on who can protect their tires enough during the course of this race, and what are you willing to do, as everyone's just being a little bit more cautious of those track limits. As Giovanni losing out a little bit of time. He's got Christian stuck on the outside. Kieran Patterson going on the attack for Gideon Reyna. Just couldn't quite get the pass done. Christian Fenter around the outside. A little touch of the brakes just to try and stabilize him into turn 1. As we do see the likes of Giovanni hunting him down. Gideon Reyna moving left, right. It's just getting a bit wild on the back of his car. And I think Kieran just letting him know, hey, bud, just calm down. Let's work together here. As otherwise we're all going to lose a bit of time. As Christian Fenter runs out wide, a bit of a snapback. Giovanni gets by, and Gideon Reyna tries to put his nose in. Just can't quite get it done. Last time I've been on track with Gideon Reyna actually was a very interesting one in the Aston Martin. When I inquired, why did he go from a front engine to a mid-engine vehicle? His answer was, well, I needed to try something new. Needed to try something with rotation, and the Ferrari just landed up working. For Kieran Patterson, well, he likes Mustangs. He likes the V8s. He likes it broily. He likes it shouty. And he loves the sound of a big, monstrous V8 chasing him down. Christoph Peterson also trying to make a bit of time. He's got likes of Mark Jans van Rensburg chasing him down of the Venomworks Racing Vipers. Beautiful blue on that car, going and really showing off some stunning, stunning liveries. Well, as we do see Kieran Patterson gets by, as Gideon Rayner landing up in the dirt, shuffling a little bit too much there, outbraked himself, has Christoph Peterson get by, and now has Mark Jans van Rensburg ducks up on the inside and just getting that pass. Gideon Rayner needs to try and dial it back a little bit. Moving left to right once again, he is not comfortable. He has to try and wait it out, switching to the inside, just getting a little bit too out of it there. I think pushing just a fraction too hard at the moment. Tries once again, as we do see in the background, Ryan Barrington-Smith dealing with the likes of Duplessis, who went up on the inside, got the pass done. So it is turning into a bit of an unhinged situation as it stands, as our drivers make their way up through the front. Bernard Barkhuizen catches up onto the back of Luke Addison as Jordan Sherritt starts to open up that gap, and Tariq Adam closing up that little bit of time. A little bit of contact by the looks of it for the 55 car, and that might have been the lightest of scuffles. Let's take a look. That was a quick cut left, right. It was a little bit early on, so may have been just a little bit of contact on the way through that went and changed up the game there. And yeah, there's the contact with the 35 car. A little bit of a knock on the door, the 433 car, and that is Werner Skuman also running into a bit of a contact situation. This was while Ryan Barrington-Smith and Duplessis were fighting each other. Late on the brakes, looks for the inside. Can he get the pass done? Not quite onto Ryan as yet. Goes late on the brakes and may have just had a slight scuffle. Nothing too bad to take out the pace to him. Tariq Adam all over the back of Bernard Barkhuizen, running in third place as they make their way around the track, really putting in the time. Absolutely great running as our drivers really put on that little bit more of a pace. We've got Duplessis giving it everything he's got. He's onto the back of Johan Blicknote for the Omnis Gaming, the Rigoli esports driver, and for it, Duplessis has done a phenomenal job in his short sim racing career. He has also gone and been picked up by Rigoli esports, and that was right after he did a single 8-hour around Monza, and then dropped the big news that he's been picked up by this international team and has been doing some great racing out there, having a lot of fun. Been doing a lot of LFM Pro Series, if I remember correctly. Werner Skuman keeping ahead of Ryan Barrington-Smith, who's got Daniel de Villiers right behind him. Absolute great show of vehicles. Mustang GT3, Aston Martin AMR V8, and also the Nissan GTR as they slide their way through. And then Jason Farmer hanging on the back with that Ferrari 296 in 20th position, trying to make up that little bit of time as pit window will be opening up in the next 40 seconds, and we're going to start seeing who's got enough in the tank, who's going to be going for those early pit stops. I do have to say we're expecting roughly the 45-minute mark would be your time to get in the pits and ensure that you can stay in for the fight. Ryan Barrington-Smith dealing with the likes of de Villiers, who goes up on the inside, gets the pass done and dusted, and a beautiful one indeed. Johan Blicknote all over the back of Quan Duplessis. Can't quite get it all done and dusted as Duplessis really gets on the gas. Audi having a lot more rotation through Sector 2, Sector 3 over the Mustang, but the legs of that V8 is just tremendous. We do have the number 4 though, and that's Fleming Bauer. Huge problem for Fleming Bauer as he gets towed back to the pits. So Fleming Bauer, who was chasing down, really trying to make up a bit of time. He's had a bit of a rough race last night. And what happened to the McLaren snap out? Yes, it did. Snap. Oh, and in the wall she goes. Major damage to the car. Had to get it towed back. And it looks like he is unfortunately out of the race as well, retiring the McLaren. So Fleming Bauer is out of the race after all the effort. Oh no, that's not the way to go, Fleming. Come on, buddy. Let's get that car back out on track. You can't give it up like that. You can't throw in the towel. You need to really fight it out. Tariq Adam all over the back of Bernard Barkhuizen. Huge turnaround, and it collects Cody. Cody's able to bring it back. But man, oh man, that was a huge clip. And Tariq Adam going and just nudging that rear. Unfortunately, that landed up with Bernard Barkhuizen turned around through the corner. Let's try and take a look, a bit of an aerial cam on that one. As we see Tariq Adam closing up at a rate of knots. Tries to go late on the brakes, goes around the outside, couldn't do it, goes for the switchback. Little bit of contact on the rear on that left corner, and oh man, Cody just with a bit of a ding as well on the way through. That is just an ouch situation. Bernard Barkhuizen now trying to go and defend against Mark Janssen van Rensburg on his climb back up towards the sharp end of the field, but those tires are going to be flat spotted. That's going to hurt. And now you've also got to go and think about the longer game here. What are the aero going to be feeling with their car? How much repair time? Is it going to be an extra 12 seconds in the pits while they're doing a bit of quick repair to try and get yourself sorted? I mean, these are all factors that are going to be running through the minds of these drivers as they try and figure out what needs to be done. The team's going to be going and clamoring at this point to ensure that they stay in without a shout. So lots and lots of hard work here for the start of the race for our RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship Round 2 at Valencia. Werner Skuman having the likes of Blickno chasing him down, the two Mustangs. And take a look, Jason Farmer looking to go on the attack against Ryan Barrington-Smith as well. So as the race continuing on, let's run through our current order as it stands. It's Jordan Sherritt out in the front, 2.5 seconds ahead of Luke Addison, followed by Tariq Adam. Cody Sherritt, who will be suffering a bit of damage on that right front. Remember, he did get a little bit of a clip there. Henry Mayer in 5th with Chris Stolz, Giovanni Porzio, Christian Fenter in 8th. 9th is Kieran Patterson, Johan Kleinans, Christoph Peterson, Gideon Reyna, Bernard Barkhuizen onto the back of him. Two former teammates now going to do battle once again. And Gideon Reyna is not going to back down from this one. Mark Janssen van Rensburg, Quan Duplessis, Werner Skuman, Johan Blicknote, all going and chasing each other back. And we've got Daniel de Villiers in 18th. 19th is Ryan Barrington-Smith, Jason Farmer, Henry Platt, Issam Domingo. And 23rd, Darren Miller. Rem for the race, Viertia Buerta, Andres Serradio, Brandon Kruger down the order. But now this is where it starts to get a bit more interesting. Paul Fenter is running in 28th. Ian Upton and Jude Neville running in 30th. First of those that have done their first pit stop, Chris Heineke in 31st, followed by Hannes van Wyk, Tianus Buerta, and a little bit further down, Michael Donaldson, Henk van der Berg, going and running in 35th place. This is his second pit stop in the race. First one was for repair, and unfortunately didn't count. Then we got Hero Bukes still needing to do 2 pit stops. Dean Norkier still needing to do 2 pit stops, as he did pit originally on lap 1, and Gerry van Zyl currently in the box. As Rian van der Race now comes into the box. So early pit stops for some of the drivers, and that's going to lead in for a bit of a charge of who's going to sit where, as Johan Blicknote and Daniel de Villiers had a little bit of contact between the two of them, just going and rubbing each other on the back of the exhaust pipes, ensuring that they stay within a bit of a shout here. Going to be a monumental effort for the two, and Ryan Barrington-Smith, who is actually coming off the gas a little bit to try and let these two fight it out, lands up in his own fight as Daniel de Villiers, the hitman, not going to allow Blicknote to let on by. He runs out wide, and here comes Ryan Barrington-Smith instantly trying to put his nose in. Can't get the drive. Jason Farmer's going to try and have a good go at him. Late on the brakes, looks to try go for the pass. Literally sliding the car around to see where it's all going to end up. Jason Farmer all over the back of Ryan Barrington-Smith. De Villiers tries to go around the outside of Blicknote. That loses out a little bit of drive. Allows Ryan Barrington-Smith once again to close up that gap, as we're starting to see a 4-way tussle, and it's soon going to be ending in a 5-way, because Henry Platt, not hanging around, is trying to close up this gap as quick as he can. So the drivers are going to make their way through. First of everyone that's done their pit stop is running in 30th position, but we've got to say one big, huge ouch goes to Thriller Miller himself. Old Darren Miller sitting with a drive-through penalty and needing a bit of work. Paul Fenter running out a little bit wide is having to try and fight his way through. I think he's just getting sick and tired of this circuit not having the luck that is ideal. So Thriller Miller need to do a drive-through penalty, and it's going to be the first of our drive-throughs. I fully suspect a couple of more to come through. The track limits on Valencia is extremely strict. You can't run out too wide. Once you go slightly over the rumble strips, that's usually on your right hand and left hand side, you can see very, very slight off on the camera angles, especially coming out of the corner here. If you go a little bit too far off the green, you will land up with a track limit. Coming out of the left-hander, if you run a bit to the fringe on the green, you will land up with a drive-through as well. Those are track limits that you need to keep a very close eye on. Kieran Patterson, all over the back of Christian Fenter. We do see the number 6. That's Andre Serradio, who landed up with a bit of a problem, losing out not one but 2 positions at this point, as Ian Upton getting the pass on him. Now we'll get a little bit more of a climb. So Andre Serradio chasing down Ian Upton, and will be trying to figure out what does he need to do to stay within the fight. So as everyone starts to try and find their groove, try and find that little bit of a settle down, Tianus Burta dealing with Hannes van Veek as it stands, each trying to really push themselves that little bit more, trying to figure out what is the valuable gap that is needed to stay in with the fight. We do see Darren Miller now coming into the pits. He's got 3 laps to serve the drive-through. I think this is going to be the drive-through getting served, and is going to bop him down the order a little bit. Long as he keeps going, though, that little bit of cycling around will ensure that he stays in with the race. So just keep circulating, even at the worst of it. Jason Farmer all over the back of Ryan Barrington, but trying to chase him down. Can't quite get the drive. As we take a look off the rear wing with that DMX electrical all-in shot, and the speed juice going and utilizing everything he's got against Jason Farmer, who is right over the back of him as we jump on board the roll bar cam. And you can hear the Ferrari picking up through the revs, starting to scream it to about 8,000 RPM, and it's going to be a proper chase down. So it's going to be a proper fight between them, and see how it's all going to go. And it's going to be that little bit more. Tariq Adam dealing with Cody Sherritt at the moment, starting to get a little bit closer to one another, and that's actually been spotted by one of our spectators. Well, I say spectators, it's actually one of our drivers that's usually out on track, and also local streamers can see him out there in the virtual grandstand wearing his merch, and that is Mr. Noob Nation himself going and shouting out and saying, keep an eye on Cody Sherritt and Tariq Adam, former teammates against one another, now going and seeing what they can do. And with it all on the cards, remember Tariq Adam in for a shout with the championship at the moment, while the likes of Cody Sherritt, this is his first race in the championship, so he's going to have to really figure it out. Chris Stolz and Giovanni Porzio going and chasing him down, and all I can say, this is going to be a heck of one to keep an eye for, but that is Darren Miller pointing in the wrong direction, hooks it in reverse, and very, very well done. Not wanting to go forward and turn the car around, he's hooking in reverse, rather wait it out and see where it goes. But I think that's running out a little bit fast. So here is old Thriller Miller himself. What happened to the Mustang? Did it become a bucking Bronco and throw him around? Or did the track just decide not enough? Hooks over the sausage curb. Oh man, that was it. Bottom out the car, threw it out on the dirt, spun it round. Fortunate enough on the outside, hooked the gears back and was able to get back in for a fight. So Giovanni now onto the back of Crystals, runs over the curb, pushing himself a little bit hard there. The Delta Negative trying to battle it out against Giano at the moment, but he just can't get that little bit of pace. Crystals now has to get a little bit more defensive. What you want to try and do here, get yourself to the middle of the circuit and go for the defensive move, while Giovanni's going to go deep on the inside line. Not what you want to have, as Crystals actually allows Giovanni to get by, overshoots the corner and tries to come back on him. Another way to do it, either pressurize him into utilizing the brakes a little bit more, or allow them to get that overspeed, that extra 1 or 2 kilometers. But unfortunately, couldn't carry out that attack, as Giovanni managing to really get it through. But he's going to be suffering with a track limit penalty there, and that's going to be starting to eat into his time. Christoph Peterson going and making his way through, the current champion of ERA, Evolution Racing Academy, that runs on a Sunday, and he is going and finding it out season 10 and 11, he holds the crown for that. Well, he's going to have to deal with the runner-up of the fastest racing in Africa, and that is the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship. Absolutely tremendous time where these drivers are going to have to really figure out how they're going to get that climb, what do they need to do, and where can they win big with PokerBet. And well, considering all is on the line, have to admit though, lots and lots of questions have been going down in the pits. What's the prize pool? What's it all looking like? And all I can say is, well, when I actually got to ask PokerBet and ask the admins, listen, what is it on the line? They said, hold back, watch the curtains, because when it comes unveiled, it's all going to come unglued. Kieran Patterson, though, going around the outside of Christian Venter, couldn't quite get it all sorted out. Venter goes on the defense, runs out a little bit wide. That's allowed Kieran to dive up on the inside, gets it all booked in, and can he carry it through? Christian Venter, swap round, beautiful maneuver there. Bernard Barkhuizen gets a pass on Christoph Peterson, but now you got Johan Kleinans, trying to put his nose in, as we do see Christian Venter getting a little bit argy-bargy there, loses out a bit of time. Kleinans sneaks his way through. Beautiful of what's happening, but Venter bops it off into the dirt. That is unfortunate for Venter, that rear end coming out on him. And let's actually take a quick look. So there was the side-on contact that cost him a bit of time here, allowed Johan Kleinans to come through, and was stuck out on the marbles. Runs out a little bit too far wide, puts the wheel very close to the dirt, set, and there's the contact against the left rear. Unfortunately snapped his rear all the way out. So young Kleinans now have to defend against Bernard Barkhuizen and Christoph Peterson chasing him down. Gideon Reyna also getting very close into the fight. Jason Farmer dealing with Ryan Barrington-Smith, Henry Platt, and Issam Domingo are chasing each other down as well. First of everyone that's done the pit stop, so it is Chris Heineke running in 28th position. Been on a good climb for him. And he's ensuring they could stay in without a shout on the way through, as our drivers will chase it down. Really trying to figure out what's going to be the motivation here. Bernard Barkhuizen, though, goes on the attack. Couldn't quite get the pass on Kleinans. Kleinans runs out a bit wide. Track limits are there. And we have got Reginald Mutaleni, who is literally sitting with a ruler at this point going, hey guys, come on. Don't run out that far wide. You're going to have a bit of a problem on the way through. And Johan Kleinans, Bernard Barkhuizen, Christoph Peterson, and Gideon Reyna all in a tow, trailing along with Kieran Patterson now starting to open up that gap. Keep an eye out towards the sharp end in the field. Tariq Adam now as second behind Luke Addison. Going and fighting his way through, doing it everything that he can to try and close up the gap. Unfortunately, we are starting to get some reports in for some of the mechanical problems that have been going and creeping in for some of our races. And first of it is actually very sad to see is Dean Nokia. He's been fighting all along this entire week to get himself all sorted out. So Dean, I know that you have gone and retired the car, but if you're more than welcome to come into the commentary box and just give us a bit of an insight of what happened after going and finding out off the start of the race. So commentary box is open, and let's see if we can get a bit of an insight of what's happening down with our drivers, especially on this very, very technical circuit here at Valencia for round 2. Bernard Barkhuizen is now opening up that gap, 1.5 seconds away from the rest of the pack. Will be trying to keep ahead. Christoph Peterson looks up on the inside, can't get the pass done and does it. Gideon Reyna instantly gets onto the back of him, tries to chase him down. Peterson goes for the inside line, and well, I've got to say, very, very brave defense for Kleinans to just charge his way through. That has allowed Gideon Reyna to go by, because the likes of Christoph Peterson having to just brake a little bit more. But it killed both their drives. Gideon Reyna, the one that is carrying the most drive through, is going to be quite happy with this and will be saying, all right, what do I need to do? What's my charge? What's the charge here? How am I going to start climbing up through the order? So definitely some cars are going and battling it out. That little bit of rotation does help, but for how long are those tires going to hold on before they go and become a Wiley Coty cartoon jumping off a cliff? Well, Hannes van Veek can tell you that. He has got a drive-through penalty on top of him, and that is not an ideal situation. Losing out that little bit of time. Henry Platt all over the back of likes of Ryan Bearing-Smith, SM Domingo chasing him down, and 3.6 seconds back is Vietia Burta. Brandon Kruger trying to charge his way through. Ian Upton also making his way through. In 24th, Andre Serradio with the likes of Paul Fenter, Jude Neville, Chris Heineke, and there is Hannes van Wyk, who is going to be kicking himself at the moment for those track limits to take him out of the running. But back up to the sharp end of the field, well, talk about kicking themselves, and that's Luke Addison. After a dominating effect to put himself up towards the top of the order, well, he's got Tariq Adam closing up at a rate of knots, trying to do everything he can to take that second place. Two former teammates and very, very big friends with one another. The ITB esports driver Luke Addison trying to keep ahead of Tariq Adam of the Ignats, going and trying to make his way through. Cody Sherritt, unfortunately, in a little bit of no man's land at the moment, watching these two fight it out. Going to be asking a few questions of, okay, you guys are going to have to fight it out, but what is it going to mean for my tires? What do I need to do to try and close up that gap and see where he can stay in for a fight? Henry Mayer running in 5th. 6th place, Giovanni Porzio. Chris Stolz, along with Kieran Patterson, who's got Bernard Barkhuizen, instantly puts his front nose in, gets it through, and we can see the likes of Kieran Patterson actually with a bit of hazard lights on, saying thank you, or going and showing a bit of support. Was it? I think he was actually just trying to show where Bernard needs to go, knowing that Bernard has got a little bit of pace underneath him. You don't want to go and impact your tires too early on. And I think Kieran is actually taking a bit of a clever approach there, saying, listen, I'm not going to go and drill my tires right now. There's still a bit of time. About 45 minutes is when I need to get that first pit stop in, and then I'll start worrying about it. So I've got to keep these tires running as long as possible, as we do have a couple of cars into the pits waiting to go out, and one of them is Harry Van Sale going and waiting to get himself sorted out on the run through. So difficult times out there. Johan Kleinans dealing with Gideon Reyna, running right to those track limits. Once again, Gideon Reyna fishing all over the show. It's been a bit of a weird one. His driving style has really altered from what we have seen. Gideon Reyna has been a very aggressive in terms of his charging towards the sharp end of the field, going way back in the early days, heading up into 2020, 2021. It was definitely that very aggressive approach, snapping left and right, trying to get in your mirrors every which way possible. This last season was a little bit more refined, and now it seems like for Valencia, not as comfortable in the car and going back to those old ways of just snap around, look left and right, try and snap the toes, not having an easy time out there, and will be focusing on the charge. So we'll have to see how it all goes through, and our drivers will have to really put on the charge. So we just waiting for a couple of drivers. They will be heading to the interview room in the Discord, so not in the driver's briefing. They'll go down to the interview room under the media room, and looks like we'll have our first driver to come through, and that'll be Dean Norkia, just to give us a bit of insight to what happened to his car and why he's unfortunately been benched for this little bit. So as our drivers make their way through, Luke Tariq Allen doing everything he can, trying to close up that gap, really battling it out. Can't quite get the car underneath him at this point, and having to do a huge charge. So let's bring in Dean Norkia to give us a bit of insight. Dean Norkia, glad to have you here. Well, glad in a sense of getting to talk to you, but wish it was after the race, not during. Give us a bit of an idea of what happened out there.
I've just been having issues the last week or two with blue screens with my CPU overheating, and I was meant to get one today, but unfortunately it didn't arrive, and so, yeah, every time I load up or close the game, it just crashes, so it's unfortunate, it's very unfortunate. I had to pull out of the MSA Cup as well due to this, missing the first race, same situation, and this situation right now. After qualifying 10th, I was super stoked.
Oh man, overheating situations always a difficult one, and it's a gut punch, that's for sure. You had a great qualifying out there, but take us through. I mean, Valencia, not an easy track. Drivers trying to push it a little bit harder every step of the way. From your standpoint, you've been out there on the track, you've been fighting it out with a couple of the drivers prior to the overheating issue. What do you think of the circuit for GT3s? Most will argue it's a bit too tight for the GT3s. Others say it's actually quite a nice track for it. Where would you put this?
Look, I'll be completely honest with you. I only got the DLC on Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. So I've only done about 4 or 5 hours on this track. And the biggest thing I had to get used to, like you mentioned now, I didn't know people found it similar, that it's quite tight. It's just you can't get like enough speed or corner entry speed regarding the double right-handers and then the left-handers. So I do feel it's a little bit tight. It really challenges the rear tires. But yeah, apart from that, I just tried to focus to learn the track, and that was my biggest thing. So I was super stoked to like get a 10th place and then gut wrenching, like you said, getting the DC. I do think there's a lot of people's tires are going to drop off at the end who maybe have not done longer than 20 or 30 minute stints, and they're going to get themselves into or for a surprise after about 40 minutes or 45 minutes to see their tires have gone sub 1.5 or sub 1.7.
Yeah, definitely going to be a pain, but we just witnessed an accident now, and it was actually with one of the Martin Rations getting turned around and a bit of contact with Henry Plutt, and it just turned into a huge fray of accidents, drivers bouncing around. But I think everyone's starting to feel that long-term effect now. At 1 hour 20 minutes, I know for many saying sim racing 1 hour 20 minutes is not a very difficult thing. I mean, you're sitting in a stationary rig, but this does take a lot out of you mentally and physically. What are the drivers going to be feeling at this point with 47 minutes and 46 seconds to go?
Look, I must admit, there's a lot of people who actually have good race pace and race fatigue. For those who aren't like hot clappers or just try and push it or inconsistent, I think for the ones that don't have a smooth rhythm or a consistent rhythm or racing style, they're going to find it very difficult on this track, to be very honest with you. If you're a smooth and consistent racer, maybe not the fastest, you'll have a little bit more of a breezier, but I do agree with you. I'm one of those. I'm slightly overweight, so I'm not the fittest of people, and usually by about 60 or 70 minutes, you get into a auto drive zone, and then all of a sudden you find yourself half a second a lap off consistently, though. But just the focus is not there, so it's difficult. I don't think a lot of people understand the level of focus it really takes for a long, extended period of time. I think you're correct.
Oh, absolutely tremendous stuff. Well, Dean, I'm not going to keep you up anymore. Sad to see you in the pits, but good to see you still out going and taking a look at the track and supporting the team out there for hybrid racing. And hopefully we get to see you back out on the track for round 3 next week. Thank you so much for joining us here in the commentary box. Guys, keep an eye out for Dean Nokia. He goes and runs out on YouTube, puts in a lot of tutorials, lots of shows, and follow the career of the young racer himself. Thank you very much, Dean. Glad to have you here.
Thanks so much. Enjoy it.
Well, a bit of insight from our drivers does give us a bit of a perspective to it, as we did see a bit of an accident. Gideon Rayner now diving into the pits, going and throwing himself into it. But Christoph Peterson now trying to make up that little bit of time, really doing everything he can. Starting to see a little bit of an interesting change of events. Drivers starting to push out a little bit harder, taking those a little bit more valiant gaps. They're trying to keep a very hard defense against one another, as we do see some of the damage on Issam Domingo's car after the little bit of earlier contact with one of our Ferrari 296s, the Martians Racing, as Henry Platt all over the back of Ryan Barrington-Smith, trying to look around, seeing where he can go. Vietia Buerta now starting to close up that gap as well. Many are going to be starting to question what is the pit stop strategies here, what do they need to do. Brandon Kruger pulling into the pits as well as they make their way through. Issam Domingo, bit of a snap oversteer, trying to bring that car back, and likes of Ryan Barrington-Smith dealing with a huge fight of Henry Platt up on the inside. The new signee to the Ominous Gaming now taking on the old dog himself, Ryan Barrington-Smith, who has gone well in his karting and has been improving the whole time. So he's now trying to utilize what he's learned here in sim racing. Well, he's learning how to go bumper and bumper with a lot of our drivers. Issam Domingo loses out a lot of drive. Vietia Buerta closes up that gap, as we do see Brandon Kruger into the pits, now trying to get himself up and going and rejoining the race after an extended period of time. Jordan Sherritt out in first place, followed by Luke Addison, Tariq Adam, Cody Sherritt running in 4th, 5th place is Henry Mayer, Giovanni Porzio, Chris Stolz, Bernard Barkhazen is running in 8th place. as he tries to make his way back up through the order after a slight bit of contact that landed up in a turnaround with Tariq Adam. Kieran Patterson in 9th, 10th place is Johan Kleinans, followed by Christoph Peterson. Con Duplessis running in 12th. 13th, Werner Skuman keeping ahead of Christian Venter as he gets chased down. Mark Jans van Rensburg, Jason Farmer, Henry Platt, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Issam Domingo having a good go at him with Viertia Berta, Andre Soradio, Gideon Reyna, ran for the race, Chris Heineke running in 24th. 25th is Tianas Berta, Johan Blicknote, Michael Donaldson, Daniel De Villiers still putting in a fight there. Looks up on the inside of Michael Donaldson, the two of them going side by side. Two are very fierce competitors, but very good friends, as we do see Tianas Berta pulling into the pits, so he's going to be serving his final pit stop during the last 43 minutes of this race. And De Villiers late on the brakes, huge dive on Michael Donaldson. Can he get it done? Beautifully hooks it in, now gets on the gas. That twin turbo V6 now looking to try and pull away from the turbocharged Ferrari 296, far lighter, but definitely not having the easiest time against Daniel, the hitman De Villiers. Donaldson looking to really ramp it up, will be fighting it out and has been on the charge. I mean, this driver has been on a climb, and going back from the earlier racing time, he was not a very quick driver and a bit inconsistent during the course of the time. He did work with a team that was around, used to run a purple and black livery, for those that know. It was previously with ZRC, if I remember. It was Zodiac Racing, and they went and trained him up. He's grown strength to strength and has done a fantastic job in terms of getting himself back up onto the top there. So utilizing a lot of the old tricks that many of our sim racers have taught him to get himself up. 30th place, Darren Miller, followed by Tianas Berta, who has now completed all his pit stops. Jude Neville and Hinko van der Berg have completed all their pit stops. So great to see that has now come into play. But that also leaves people questioning, as Christian Venter gets himself into the box, who is going to be ahead of the bar? What is going to be the bar? Who's going to be the people to keep an eye out for? Those net first place are going to be that interesting, challenging situation on the way through. As Ryan Barrington-Smith gets ahead of Issam Domingo, Viertia Berta all over the back of him, closing up that gap. Will look for the inside line, late on the brakes, can't quite get it all sorted. Viertia Berta hoping to just get a little bit more of a climb and really trying to get in for the fight, as he has been on a proper charge. Interesting pit stops though. Luke Addison and Giovanni into the pits to get themselves sorted out. That's going to leave Jordan Sherritt, Cody Sherritt, Henry Mayer, Chris Stills, Bernard Barkhazen to keep up the drive and ensure that they stay at the sharp end of the field. Not going to be an easy time though, as they're going to have to start thinking about their own pit stops and worrying about the undercut that will be looming at a rate of knots. Fastest lap time in the race though has been set by Jordan Sherritt at 1:30.5, but he's been keeping consistent with those 1:30s. How long can he keep up those tires to carry on that little bit of momentum as the drivers make their way through? Bit of a slow entry for the 333 as he now trying to get into the pit lane. Oh man, very, very slow entry for the 333. Landed up in an accident by the looks of it, and that was up against, that is the 296. Jude Neville. Oh man, serious contact with the two of them. Landed up taking a bit of an impact and deciding at that point, oh, what a comeback. I don't know what to say. That was a serious comeback, and if I think I know who that was. Please tell me it's not so. That's Tariq Adam. Tariq Adam was the unfortunate fatality on the rejoin. Came around looking all fine, kept going, and here's the rejoin heading for the pits. Tariq Adam down, Cody Sherritt taking the evasive action, and Tariq Adam towing to the pits. That is swapped up out front. Jordan Sherritt out in first. Cody Sherritt now in second. Chris Stills in third. Tariq Adam towing back to pits after a bit of a rough rejoin. I won't lie. That was trying to drive back into the pits, but you were just a little bit too far. Wouldn't have recommended it. But that has opened up the gap a little bit for our drivers. It swapped it up. Most certainly swapped it up. But the stewards are going to be reviewing that one properly, because that is not an easy time out there. Definitely going to be one that everyone's going to be questioning. Duplessis running in 5th place behind Johan Kleinans. In 4th, Werner Skuman, Mark Jans van Rensburg, Jason Farmer, Henry Platt, Ryan Barrington Smith running in 10th place. Issam Domingo and Vietia Buerta chasing him down, doing everything he can to get in for the fight. But I am stunned for words, folks. I don't know about you all out there in the virtual grandstands, but man, oh man, that is Tariq Adam shaking it up. And our championship runner, our leader for the championship, Tariq Adam, will be losing a significant amount of points here and will be dropping down behind Luke Addison and Bernard Barkhuizen and Giovanni, as he will be losing out that little bit of time in the championship. So let's see how it's all going to work out. So the race is not over. There's still many heats to go. And I do think that Tariq Adam can get that car out just for a couple of more laps to go and do everything he can to fight it out. So, Ryan Barrington-Smith still carrying on. Henry Platt into the pits. Jason Farmer, Werner Skuman all into the pits. Duplessis all getting themselves in. Interesting enough, though, Cody Sherritt into the pits. Now that pit lane is getting quite busy out there. Issam Domingo, Vietia Buerta chasing down. Anyone that knows about pit lane shenanigans, well, that has to be the likes of Saki Goes Bossy. And also saying, oi, that was a bit of a hair-raising one for Cody Sherritt to take avoidance there, and was lucky not to get clipped on the rear wheels yet again. He's just been around, right place, wrong time sort of situation. But now let's see where he gets in. Jordan Sherritt, though, gets into the pits as well. So he's keeping an eye out for that undercut, and for the likes of Cody Sherritt not wanting to have that run in. But also Luke Addison, can't take anything away from him. Luke Addison currently on the charge. He's right behind Andre Serradio and is currently in a net 1st place. So Luke Addison will be trying to get that little bit more pressure. Andre Serradio goes a little bit defensive, holds that inside line, not going to let him go by anytime just as yet. And here comes Luke Addison around the outside. He's going to try and switch it up. He's going to really battle to get the grip out of there on the marbles. Try and slide the car around. Is a 296 going to have enough legs in it? Yes, it is. And Serradio tried putting up the fight, couldn't quite get it all hooked in. Both starting to get those tires falling apart on them. Interesting enough, Luke Addison was stopped in the box 32.7 seconds. That means, well, 28.5. That was a tire change, along with Cody Sherritt has also done a tire change. So new tires being put onto these cars. Jordan Sherritt was also a tire change. He comes out of the pits. Is it going to be enough to keep ahead of Luke Addison? Well, Vietia Buerta sneaks on by here, and the likes of Jordan Sherritt tries to put his nose in. Oh, contact with Vietia Buerta on the way through. Not quite the easiest of runs there. Vietia will keep a very close eye on that, as Jordan Sherritt trying to stand on the gas, knowing the threat looming behind him is Luke Addison and Cody Sherritt running in tow. Ryan Barrington-Smith still fighting it out to keep it all together, all over the back of Issam Domingo. And Domingo's been on a hard charge here. He's been keeping it all together, done a fantastic job of keeping Ryan Barrington-Smith at bay. But for how long can he do it for? That BMW, bar in mind, has got a bit of damage on the front end, and that is going to start causing that drop-off on the tires a little bit more every bit of the lap. Ryan Barrington-Smith seeing Jordan Sherritt behind him may actually allow Jordan to go. Oh, big tank slapper for Ryan Barrington-Smith, who tried to break mid-corner, and that has compromised him completely for Vietia Buerta to try and capitalize on the pass. So Vietia Buerta sneaks to go on the attack here. Is it going to be enough, though? He's going to have to try everything he can. Lost out a lot of momentum through the chicane, as we do see Jordan Sherritt sneaks up on the inside of Issam Domingo, gets the pass done, and makes his way through. Issam Domingo dives into the pits, Vietia Buerta into the pits, as the rest of our drivers come through. 1st place, though, leading out the charge. Crystals in 1st, with Johan Kleinans in 2nd. Jordan Sherritt running in 3rd. Ryan Barrington-Smith, followed by Luke Addison in 5th. Then a little bit further down, we're going to have Cody Sherritt going to be jumping up to that 6th place. Henry Mayer will move up into 7th, being chased down by Giovanni Porzio. Quite a busy pit lane as it stands, and it's going to be even busier in a short time. Bernard Barkhuizen comes across the line with Kieran Patterson chasing him down, looking to try and close up that gap. as fast as possible. Christoph Pedersen running in 13th. 14th is Christian Venter, followed by Grande Bessie, Werner Skuman, Daniel de Villiers, Mark Jens van Rensburg, Michael Donaldson, Jason Farmer, Henry Platt, Paul Venter going and make his way through, Brandon Kruger, Ian Upton, Andre Serradio, Kilian Reyna, Rem van der Race, Tianas Buerta, Chris Heineke, Jude Neville, Johan Blichner, Darren Miller now into the pits, and coming out of the pit lane, Henko van der Berg sitting in pits, and Harry van Zyl waiting to go out. And I think Harry van Zyl may have actually retired that car. Chris Stalls now finally into the pits with Johan Kleinans trying to get himself back out. Jordan Sherritt will be retaking the charge. Ryan Barrington-Smith, though, taking the pit board with him. And it looks like he's had a bit of an unfortunate off for the 74 car. Let's take a quick look. May have actually had a bit of contact from behind. And was up against McLaren on the Commandulis Racing. A little bit of a rough time in terms of netcode there. And, there's the contact. Getting a little bit of bounce around. And that was Ryan Barrington-Smith off into the dirt. Having to heave her. Here she goes. And get the car up and going. So, Jordan Sherritt back up into first place. Luke Addison running in second. Cody Sherritt into third. Henry Mayer, who is now up into fourth place. Remember, Bernard Barkhuizen was originally on that massive climb. And just trying to take a look where he is. He's currently lying in 9th position as it stands. So he's a little bit further down. Giovanni running in 5th. Bernard Barkhuizen now in 6th. After drivers now pulling into the pits. Chris Stolz running in 7th. Kieran Patterson keeping himself going. A nice gentle run in 8th place. A little bit of no man's land, unfortunately, for a couple of our drivers. And they will be aching at this point not to be in no man's land. This track lends itself to being into a fight that you're keeping close enough to your competitor to stay in that run. But at the same time, you don't want to be too close that if a mistake does happen, you can land up breaking your car. You want something to follow. You want something to chase. The moment that you're sitting in this little bit of a dead area, as we would say, that dead space, where you're just hot lapping, you're following the times, you start looking around for every little part to it. What's happening out there? What do you need to do? Are you going to chase a clock? Those moments for people that start forgetting the track knowledge, they tend to look towards the trees, the clouds, and everything. They start losing. And we did hear from Dean Nokia. It's one of those tracks that if you don't practice, if you don't start trying to give yourself that little bit of a motivation, you will land out losing a bit of time. Taking a look over to the pit wall, I do see the helmet off and the overalls halfway down. And that is Tariq Adam, who is unfortunately gone and parked the car after a bit of contact. And well, all I can say to Tariq, I know it's been a bit of a rough time and definitely does take the wind out of your sails, but I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth here, and everyone knows it. Everyone knows the feel to it. I do recommend that get out there, get that little bit more. You know what? Don't finish out on what that was. You know, try and get across the line. You know, I would recommend go and get across that line. For all those that have been racing, I know that Dean O'Keefe unfortunately can't due to overheating issues. We did hear about the mechanical issues coming into play there. But for those that can, pull up your overalls, zip it up, put the helmet on, go back out on track there, and get across the line the way that you want to. You want to get across the line. You don't want to go and lose out that time. And yes, it is a rough situation. Yes, you do see the red mist. You want to go and just really get your elbows in there. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that, but I would recommend for all the haters or the naysayers that say, oh, no, just throw in the towel. Well, getting back in the car and go chasing down, I think that's the right way of doing it. I might be the world's fastest back marker, but you know, with our pros out there on track, I'm sure that is the running thought going through the heads, and knowing the fierce competitors that we have out on the track as well, and those waiting in the pits. Our fierce competitors will go and give it their 100% all. So that's my plea to Tariq Adam, who I see still out there in the virtual grandstands and standing on the wall. He's going to be giving a bit of support. But I I think it's well worth it. I really think it's well worth it. Well, I got an idea. Don't believe me? My call to everyone out there in the virtual grandstands. Do you want to see Tariq Adam cross the finish line the way it needs to be done? To get across that line, to shut down all the naysayers, to say that you just threw in the towel? Or we're going to go and see Tariq Adam, that championship leader at the moment, might not have had that good race in round 2, but has gone and still stuck it out there. So that is what my challenge is. To everyone in the virtual grandstands, and I'm taking a look out there, we've got some great champions. We have got Caleb Mauer, we've got Dino, we have got the Noob Nation himself, who doesn't know when to quit. He continuously races in endurance races by himself. Do you guys want to see Tariq Adam get back in the car and sling it round? It might be just at the lower end of the field, but to see the man at least get across the line, he's got it this far. Let's keep the pressure going right here at RaceFace.Pro, PokerBet GT3. So if you want to see it, write it. Let it known. Let your voices be known to the drivers, to the pit crew, and let's see if we can get that car back out on track. I'm sure the mechanics have got that rear axle sorted out, and he's able to get that car back on track. So if this is my foot in mouth, if this is my cry of plea, well, guess what? Give it horns. And I know I say it to everyone, but I would like to see it. I really would say that, because there is so many drivers out there, and I'm taking a look through for Harry van Zyl, Henko van den Berg, that's sitting in the pit lane. Come on, get those cars back out there. Don't just go and sit on your haunches and, well, sit it out, because Brandon Kruger, who is out in first place, well, is Jordan Sherritt out in first place, has got Luke Addison in second, Cody Sherritt in third. This is our strongest field of racing in RaceFace history at the moment. And why not go and see all these cars, all these drivers get across the line, and for not only the amazing sponsors like PokerBet who have come to the forefront, but also for our amazing petrol heads, the fans, the super fans, the guys that fly across the world to see everyone get in back behind the wheel. So, that's the call there. Challenge on. And if you don't want to take up the challenge, well, couldn't say that everyone didn't try. Wouldn't like to see someone go and lose out that little bit of a run. So, challenge is on. Shouts there. Everyone's hearing it, as we got many drivers fighting out. Young Kleinans and Duplessis really pushing each other to the edge. 26 minutes left of this race as our drivers try and do everything they can to keep on going, pushing themselves out a little bit more. And Duplessis having a phenomenal run with Kleinans all over the back of him, trying to step it up, trying to push that a little bit more and see where they can get into the fight. So Kleinans hoping that he can try get underneath that Audi R8 Evo 2 and just can't get that little bit of a run. The Ferrari 296 just not having the legs to deal with him at the moment, and we'll have to sit it out, just sitting out of that top 10, because Christian Fenter, slightly up the road, lying in 10th place, will be clawing his way through, trying to make it all work, and with Duplessis on that defense, constantly watching his mirrors at this point. Kleinans trying to get that little bit more of a run on the way through. So, as our drivers keep pushing themselves out a little bit more, trying to see what they can do. Werner Skuman going to be making his way around. Only one of our drivers, though, lying in 23rd position, has completed all these pit stops. And then it goes down 25th, 26th, 27th. But our top running order, Jordan Sherritt, and all the way down to 22nd, are yet to get themselves into the box. Kleinans going with a defensive inside line, tries to close up the gap. Oh, a little bit of backing off to the left, and not quite ideal circumstances, but Duplessis didn't back down from that fight. The Delta Negative trying to put on the pressure, and Duplessis said, listen, if you're going to add it, I'm going to give it. And it really kept his foot flat. Didn't matter if he was in the dirt or not. He was going to continue that drive and try and push through it nonetheless on the way through here. So absolutely great stuff, as everyone looking to get themselves going. Van Rensburg, Janssen van Rensburg now getting into the pits. So he's going to be serving his pit stop and getting himself sorted out ready to go out once again. Clayton still on defense. Ryan Barrington-Smith dealing with Jason Farmer, as we do have yellow flags kicking up for the 55 car. And that is Gideon Rayner at the moment. And who was he behind? That is Vietia Buerta, the 388 car, going in, having a bit of a chase down. So, Gideon Rayner keeping in the close toe, inside line, looks to go for it, side by side. Oh, Vietia Buerta tried getting into the left-hander, snap oversteer, actually hooks a right, and Issam Domingo getting a drive-through penalty as well. So while we are watching that replay of a bit of an accident, we also do see Issam Domingo now suffering with a drive-through penalty. That is going to be a nightmare run for him as they try and make their way through. Johan Bloknote giving a bit of a run to fellow sister team, Michael Donaldson of the Nitro team, all over the back of Bloknote of the Armis Gaming team. So these two, both of the same faction, but one is the Nitro, one is the mainstay, as they duke it out between one another. And it's very close between the two. Bloknote tries to go defensive. Unfortunately, that big, heavy front engine Ford Mustang GT3 throws itself off into the sides of the circuit. That understeer absolutely coming into play. Jordan Sherritt, though, keeping up the charge, running in first place. Going to be quite happy with this, as he does take a look to see a couple of cars pulling into the pits. Now this is going to be the question. Is the undercut going to come into play? Is Luke Addison going to dive into the pits? Cody Sherritt going to come through into the pits? Not this time. They're going to continue a little bit more. Henry Mayer tries to get a little bit more of a run, as he's got Giovanni going and closing up that gap. And Giovanni is not having a great time in terms of getting past the back mark. He's having to break a little bit earlier there. Lost a bit of time out. And we'll have to continue on the drive. Bernard Barkhuizen running in 6th place as he hammers it on, trying everything he can to stay within the fight. So great stuff for quite a few of our drivers, pushing the boundaries at the moment to see where they can go. And absolutely huge run. So Bernard Barkhuizen, Giovanni Polzio giving it horns and trying to make it all the way towards the top as they fight their way through. Jason Farmer onto the back of Ryan Barrington-Smith for 15th and 16th position. Doesn't matter where you go in the field, there's always these little fights that are happening out on track. Fantastic to see, especially on a very difficult circuit here at Valencia. But now it is starting to get a little bit later. We're starting to see the reflection of those headlights coming off a tire a little bit more as our drivers try and find that little bit of grip. It's 25 degrees out there. It's still quite a warm circuit to deal with, but it's now who's got enough life in the tires. A lot have left their pit stops to be that splash and dash to get them to the end. That's what we're going to have to keep a very close eye on. Andre Serradio of Project Vapors going and diving up on the inside of Paul Fenter, and that is going to allow the likes of Kieran Patterson to come in for a fight, and Kieran's going to also do everything he can to try and get round. Number 91 will be having a great time out there and trying to make a little bit more of a climb. That's Darren Miller. He actually served a drive-through penalty. Apologies. So Darren Miller, who is a blue flag, is just keeping up with them and saying, oh, come on, Paul, we need you to just get the hurry up and go. Kieran Patterson does pull into the pits and will be getting his pit stop done and dusted. Loses our position to Christoph Peterson, Christian Fenter, Johan Kleinans, Duplessis, Werner Skuman, all coming across the line as well, as they really put on down the hammer. Daniel De Villiers, is he going to dive into the pits? No, he goes and thinks about it, but not going to do it this time around. Ryan Barrington-Smith trying to keep the pressure and keep on going. Holds the right-hand side, so he's going to go for the outside sweep. Jason Farber tried his luck for in turn 1. Couldn't get the pass done and dusted. Has to wait it out yet again. And Jason Farmer constantly just going and scratching away at the back of Ryan Barrington-Smith, saying, come on, buddy. Let's see where this is all going to go. That little bit of pressure each and every time does make a huge difference for the drivers. Giovanni Porzio all over the back of Henry Mayer as he makes his way through and really trying to get time along. Do want to point out, though, taking a look over to our virtual notice board here at Bukes, actually, going and putting onto the virtual notice board and admitting fault on that a little bit of an impact that landed up with Tariq Adam pulling into the pit, or getting towed to the pit. Garrett Buick's actually admitting fault to it, admitting sorry, and also going and saying, well, it was a bit of a rookie mistake, and apologies for that. So it's nice to go and point these things out, because the reflection is a very hindsight type of thing for a lot of our drivers. It's good to see it out there. But one thing I have to admit, though, is I'd like to see more of the drivers getting back out onto the track and continue on the race. Yes, incidents do happen out on circuit here for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship, but we all love racing. We all have stuck in the work. We've all really gone and put it out. And I mean, the best way to do it is actually seeing that checker flag across the line. And it's also our petrol heads out there, the super fans, going, keeping a close eye. Michael Donaldson dealing with Viertia Buerta all over the back of him. Viertia Buerta trying to go and battle it out. Michael Donaldson, and these two were former teammates. Donaldson and Viertia Buerta were former teammates in one life, and now they are trying to go and fight it out as rivals out on the track, with Jude Neville just narrowly keeping ahead of the two of them and trying to hold that very defensive inside line. Michael Donaldson does back down a little bit, tries to get the run onto the back of Jude Neville. Now all these drivers have done their pit stop. Now they are just focusing on the main attack. They are trying to claw their way through. And where is it going to come out? Well, this is going to be the different story here, as Donaldson does try to look around the outside. Jude Neville locking down that inside line, not going to back down from the fight, sweeps across the nose, lost out a little bit of momentum here. Goes, dives to the left-hand side. This is going to be right to the marbles. Donaldson not going to take the dirt at this time around. He's going to go around the outside, and that is going to have Viertia Buerta following his way through. Jude Neville not going to back down. Michael Donaldson loses out a bit of a drive, and Viertia narrowly missing a likes of Donaldson, who lost out a little bit of drive. Jude Neville gets a tap, and that twists him around. Viertia gets bumped around, and that is going and making a bit of a concertina effect on the way through. Unfortunately, going and throwing them down the order. Christoph Peterson is going, okay, buddies, I'm going to wait out on this one. To go and just see Viertia Buerta running onto the outside of the Mustang, going and fighting his way through. That is the 53 car. That's keeping within check and moving out of the way. That's Jan Blicknote going and saying, okay, I'm going to find out like a little bit of gap here. But Viertia Buerta actually slowing up quite a bit, trying to let Jude Neville to catch up to the back of him. It hasn't got the report back, though. Jude Neville has gone and towed back to the pits on that little bit of contact. So, oh man, just a nightmare incident. It went from bad to worse in a matter of seconds for the likes of Jude Neville. Let's see if we can take a quick look to the helicam as we do jump on a high ground. Seeing that Jude Neville in the pink nose Ferrari has got Donaldson on the outside. Donaldson gets a little bit out of shape. Viertia dives up on the inside. Donaldson tries to get by. There's the contact on the rear. Snap around. Donaldson gets it over the nose. And Jude Neville, unfortunately, getting a bit of a break. So that has also dropped him into the pits with a bit of work. Johan Kleinans into the pits along with Werner Skuman as they get themselves done and dusted. This is going to allow Barkhazen. Now, bear in mind, Barkhazen is the first of everyone that's completed their pit stops. He is now in 12th, moving up 2 more positions. He gets into that top 10, but he's staying within the fight and trying to get a bit of a recovery drive at the moment. Plans having to switch around. Major changes to his pit schedule was due to the earlier contact, and has done a final splash and dash as he does see Michael Donaldson parked out on the outside. The number 1, unfortunately, going and waiting for the rest of the field to come on by. Let's try and take a look at what happened to Michael Donaldson. Runs out wide over the marbles. Does lose out a little bit of drive. Tries to get the nose to pivot in on the Ferrari. Runs out a little bit wide. And my word, it just, the car straightened out for him, and that was pretty much that for the number 1. And he does tow the car back, so something mechanically has gone wrong with that car. And unfortunately, Michael Donaldson, who was on a great charge, will be going and getting the car into the pits for a bit of repair. And unfortunately, that is going to drop him out of the order. This track is definitely not holding back on taking a few victims or 2 out of the racing so far. And not ideal circumstances for everyone that's trying to get themselves to the end. But this is Valencia. This is what Valencia is all about. A technical circuit that really pushes you to the limit of what you are capable of doing and what your car is able to do, especially during the course of this very, very grueling race. As we take a look at Giovanni here, going and having a bit of fun. Gio! As he's teamed. You definitely got to raise both hands up in the air as you scored the win big. Maybe he's gone and actually signed up with PokerBet to go for that over 3 million rand in guarantees. And he is just hands up in the air after winning big, coming this whole holiday, this whole holiday season. Heading for not only Halloween, but also for the likes of Diwali. Once again, exciting times here in the world, and great to see it. Werner Skuman keeping ahead of Johan Kleinans, as Kleinans in the Delta Negative is right behind Jordan Sherritt, who's now carving his way through the field, just trying to mince his way through it, keeping it nice and easy. Jordan Sherritt holding a very comfortable lead of 11.4 seconds. So Jordan Sherritt out in first, Luke Addison running in second place, Cody Sherritt running in third, Henry Mayer in fourth as Giovanni pulls into the pits, and here comes Chris Stalls to take that fifth position. Christoph Peterson running in seventh at the moment, with Christian Fenter Duplessis running in ninth. 10th, Bernard Barquez and Daniel de Villiers, Jason Farmer, Ryan Barrington Smith, Henry Plutt, along with Kieran Patterson, Gideon Rayner, Werner Skuman, along with Johan Kleinans. And we do see Johan Blicknote with a drive-through penalty. Unfortunately, he's lying in 26th position. That's going to hurt. 18th is Johan Kleinans, followed by Mark Jans van Rensburg, Rian van der Race, Tianas Buerta, Brandon Kruger, Andre Serradio with Chris Heineke, Viertia Buerta in 25th. 26th is Blicknote trying to serve that drive-through penalty. It's going to allow Issam Domingo to move up into 26th. 27th is Ian Upton. And will Paul Fenter be able to get it? Not this time, unfortunately. Paul Fenter will have to follow in that pit lane, getting extremely busy there. Paul Fenter in 29th with Darren Miller running in 30th. So there's our running order at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, as our drivers fight it out. Kleinans all over the back of Werner Skuman, the Pandacity driver, trying to make his way through. And Werner Skuman kind of been split between the world of ACC and also giving a bit of assistance, as Pandacity have been working to get the F1 side up and going. So trying to work with a bit of single-seater action out there with the world of F1 and balance it out with a bit of GT3 racing. Well, he's keeping up a great defense at the moment, so if this is anything, we're starting to see a defense that would rival the likes of Max Verstappen and the likes of Lando Norris. Depending on whether you're a McLaren fan or whether you're a Red Bull fan, well, you're getting to see it all. And, cars that are a Ferrari and a Ford out to really go and make a few people cringe at the thought of comparing a Red Bull and a Ferrari to the likes of a McLaren and, and a Ford. Not an easy one out there. And we're getting a bit of information coming through, and it's actually from Michael Donaldson. So Michael Donaldson, if you have an opportunity, take a look down into the grandstands, see that he has made his way up into the interview. So let's bring him up and get a bit of insight of what happened to Michael Donaldson. Michael Donaldson, glad to have you here. I wish it was under better circumstances, though, and wish it was during the course of the race. We noticed that everything was going well. A little bit of contact that happened when you were in a bit of a tussle with Viertia Buerta and Jude Neville. But what happened afterwards? We noticed that you just straight towards the wall, and that was pretty much that.
Well, Steve, the unfortunate part is, I was having a great battle with Johan, my teammate, and I managed to get past him, and then I managed to undercut Viertia, kept him behind me, got past Neville, because we're going 3 wide into turn 2, and I decided to brake as late as I can, take a wide angle, and then try and come back. But then Viertia ended up going straight into the back of Neville, which then Neville hit me, and I was fine. I was going fine for another 2 laps, and then next thing you know, going into turn 2 again, wheel sort of does a snap, and then I've got no steering whatsoever.
Oh man, absolutely gutting. Mechanical failures coming in, but still great racing out there. How's the circuit? Just give us a bit of an idea of, towards the later part of the race, how the cars are feeling, how's the circuit, and how's this all been out there up until the moment while the going was good?
Well, I can say that the tires definitely do not like this track. I mean, your tires fall off and then they fall off hard. The Aston's by far the worst. I mean, we're hearing a lot of complaints coming out from Brandon and Liam about the Aston, the tires, the constant sliding. I mean, I wasn't having as many issues in the Ferrari. It was more just my the pace was falling off by about half a second. Then it was going towards a second, then over a second when I decided to put and take fresh tires and just leave it. But I can say it was going very well. I started dead last due to a quali ban and then fought my way back. At this point, I would have been sitting in 24th, but unfortunately, things happen.
Wasn't meant to be this race, but it's good to see that still keeping your heads up. For many people that don't know Michael Donaldson, a AM driver that has truly developed over the course of time. I've raced with a previous team prior to joining up with Ominous Gaming. Nitro was with the ZRC team, but Michael Donaldson, gotta say, from going and watching your sim racing career, you really have gotten better. You've got a little bit of a cooler head as well, and thinking things through a little bit, and also when something goes wrong, much cooler head. I've got to take my hats off to you on that growth and development. It wasn't your round 2, but we do know round 3 you're going to come back swinging as hard as you can. And thank you so much for making the time to come up to the commentary box as we in for the last 7 minutes of this race. I know that you're going to be going and cheering on your team right till the very end.
I definitely will. I really do appreciate the kind words, Steve. Really do. It's been one hell of a ride this past year. I mean, switching over from F1 to ACC, and then coming in, going into a set of course with that same sort of F1 mindset where dive bombs and everything was the thing. Got a lot of talking to for it. Got a lot of penalties, and just learned to rather take things a bit more calm.
Well, great stuff. Well, head down to the team, go to the wall, because you've got 7 minutes to go, and it is still a monstrous fight out there. But Michael Donaldson, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you for round 3. And I'll look forward to going and chatting to you when you hit the winner's circle.
Oh, thank you so much, Steve. I'll check you later then.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Great stuff. Michael Donaldson giving us a bit of thoughts there. Unfortunately, mechanical failure taking him out of the race. Well, 6 minutes and 48 seconds to go. Jordan Sherritt leading out the pack, 12 seconds ahead of the likes of Luke Addison, looking to win big and go and jump up his friend Tariq Adam, who's unfortunately retired the vehicle, and it doesn't look like we're going to get him back out onto the track. So Luke Addison in second place with Cody Sherritt running in third. It's going to be having a huge amount of fun out there. Henry Mayer in fourth. Giovanni Paulzera running in fifth place with Bernard Barkhuizen onto the back of him. Now, I do want to point out Henry Mayer is not too far up the road here to Giovanni and Bernard Barkhuizen. So we may see a bit of a three-way tussle. Fourth, fifth, and sixth closing up that gap. Kieran Patterson in seventh. Eighth place is Christoph Peterson and Gideon Reyna in ninth, along with Duplessis running in 10th. 11th position, Christian Venter, Werner Skuman, Johan Kleinans, Mark Jens van Rensburg, Daniel and de Villiers in 15th. 16th is Rian van der Race, Jason Farmer, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Henry Plutt, along with Tiernas Buerta, Brandon Kruger, Andre Serradio, Chris Heineke, Viertia Buerta a little bit further back, Isam Domingo, Ian Upton chasing down. 27th is Johan Blicknote, moving out of the way for one of our PWSR cars, Paul Venter, Darren Miller, Crystals, and unfortunately, a couple of cars in the pits, Jude Neville, Henko van der Berg, and Kerry van Sale waiting it out. Well, Bernard Barkhuizen has closed up that gap, 0.5 of a second on to the back of Giovanni, trying to really get that little bit more of a grunt into the toe, pulls himself closer, looks for the inside line, backed out of it, going to rather wait it out. Giovanni running outside line, not too concerned about any of his mirrors at the moment, still working on that charge. He is going to try and carry as much momentum as possible, knowing that McLaren does have a bit of an advantage through Sector 2. It is a bit more of a faster sweep. All drivers have served their final pit stop in the last 5 minutes of the race. Pit lane is closed, so you really don't want to get into the box. You want to be ensured to continue on the drive, and it has been a difficult round 2 here at Valencia. but it has been a track that's really brought some of the best action out of our drivers going and fighting it out. So much on the line for round 2 of the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship here at Valencia. Still so much to go. As we look at 4 minutes 30, we say, well, the clock's a bit close there. You don't have to worry about it. Well, we all seen in the final minutes, the final seconds, anything can happen and can change the race on its head. Well, have a chat to changing on the head. SM Domingo and Ian Upton chasing each other down. I do want to point out, I did say everyone's done their pit stop, but Crystal's running at 30th. He's still got 1 lap to go. So Crystals, who's for the Delta Negative, is going to be a little bit of hot water at the moment. Needs to serve that pit stop, otherwise will be suffering a 130-second time limit onto him. Now, it doesn't really impact him with Jude Neville, Hinken Vandenberg, and Kerry Funzel, but it does affect him if he wants to get the climb on anyone else. And that's not the easiest time out there. Rio from the race, onto the back of the Villiers, trying to push it as hard as he can. Bernard Barkhuizen onto the back of Giovanni, trying to wind it up a little bit more, really staring down the back of that car. Goes and drops back a little bit, gets himself sorted to try and get a little bit more of a run. Heading into sectors 2 and 3. Henry Mayer only 1.5 seconds up the road. Not going and losing too much time at the moment. Managing to maintain the steady gap as Giovanni's going a little bit more defensive. Barkhuizen all over the back of him will stay in for the fight. So Barkhuizen, who has climbed up quite a bit, but is down 4 positions from where he started. Jordan Sherritt is exactly where he started. Lucas up 2 positions. Cody Sherritt exactly where he started. Henry Mayer up 2 positions. Giovanni up 2 positions. Bernard Barkhuizen down 4. Kieran Patterson is up 7. Christoph Peterson up 1. Gideon Reina up 4. Duplessis up 11. Christian Venter exactly where he started. Werner Skuman up 11. Johan Kleinans up 2 positions from where he started. Mark Jans van Rensburg up 5. Daniel De Villiers up 7. Ram van der Race up 8. Jason Palmer up 10. Ryan Barrington-Smith up 7. Henry Platt up 10. Tianas Buerta up 10. Brandon Kruger up 11. Andres Serradio up 13. Chris Haneke up 10. Viertier Buerta up 10. SM Domingo up 1. Ian Upton up 11. Johan Blickner down 9 positions from where he started. 18th. And he's now sitting in 27th. Paul Venter up 8 positions from where he started. And Darren Miller up 9 positions. Chris Stoll's down 22 positions from where he started. And that tells a bit of a story of how this race has gone. Ups and downs all over the show. But as the final 2 minutes are starting to ring through, couple of battles building up. Giovanni and Bernard Barkhuizen, Daniel De Villiers and Rian van der Race going and fighting it out as they look to really get into the fight. Brandon Kruger and Andre Serradio going and still slugging it out. So we're going to keep an eye on these battles as they start running into the final times. Jordan Sherritt will be starting to lift ever so slightly with that little bit of a gap, just to try and let the top of the clock tick down so he doesn't have to do more unnecessary laps. As I mentioned, these drivers are running the fuel tanks right to its bare. They are going to be until there's nothing left in it. So what you ideally want to do is try and get that to work for you that little bit longer. How far can you get it going? Where is the advantage going to be in the running order? So Bernard Barkhuizen onto the back of Giovanni. We've just got confirmation from Jim of Race Control saying that they are on their final lap. So Jordan Sherritt is on his final lap. So it's all or nothing here. All the drivers would have got that exact same report that leaders on the final lap. So if you have got a target in sight, you best go and give it everything you got. As Giovanni and Bernard Barkhuizen are going to slug it out. Werner Skuman, Johan Kleinans, Daniel De Villiers, and Riam van der Race are going to do everything they can. Giovanni instantly holding that left-hand side, comes back towards the fringes of the circuit before the braking zone, trying to snap that toe. But Bernard Barkhuizen copying him through and through, not backing down from that fight, wanting to stay in for it. Does lose a little bit of time as they make their way through the left-hander, into the double left-hander, really onto the brakes, swings the car around, the tail starting to lose out a little bit of grip. Werner Skuman, let's see if he's going to do the same thing, as he's got Johan Kleinans in the exact same situation. No, both drivers actually going to keep it to the right-hand side, not worry about throwing each other out too far out. Likes of Daniel De Villiers and Riam van der Race still chasing each other down. Are they going to land up doing what we saw with our lead, our front pack? Nope, it looks like Rian van der Race is going to keep in that toe no matter what. He's not going to break it heading into turn 1 as coming across the line, Jordan Sherritt takes the checkered flag with Luke Addison coming across in second place. And third will be Cody Sherritt after a monumental fight. Henry Mayer will maintain fourth. Giovanni keeping just ahead of Bernard Barkhuizen as there's one corner to go. And I do think that's pretty much that. Bernard Barkhuizen trying to go for that final send. Unfortunately, a little bit too far back from Giovanni, who's going to be quite happy to take that fifth place. Bernard Barkhuizen taking sixth. Seventh will be Kieran Patterson. If he can carry on the momentum, little Honda chasing him down. Christoph Peterson, the very few that actually decide to pick the Honda. Well, a monumental effort will be taking 8th place as Kieran Patterson getting the drive around. Gideon Reyna in 9th, 10th place, still open cards as Duplessis keeping ahead of Christian Venter under braking. And Venter tries to go for it, snaps the rear for the Venter Racing. Couldn't quite get the pass done and dusted, just out of that top 10. Furnace Kuman ahead of Johan Kleinans. Mark Janssen van Rensburg will come across in 14th. 15th is still on the cards here. Daniel, the Hitman de Villiers. Rian van der Race going to try and go for it. And van der Race late on the brakes, tries to bring the nose in. McLaren just can't get the power down. And van der Race keeping ahead of Jason Farmer, finishing in 17th. 18th place is Ryan Barrington-Smith, Henry Platt, Tiernas Burta, Brandon Kruger, Andre Soradio, Chris Heineke, Viertier Burta, Issam Domingo, Ian Upton, Johan Blucknose, Paul Fenter, Darren Miller, and Chris Stolz, rounding out our pack. Wow, oh wow, folks. And that pretty much brings it to the end of our race. And what a race it has been, with highs, lows, turns and spills, thrills and spills all the way through, and some great racing nonetheless from every single one of our drivers. Well, we're going to be waiting to get a couple of our drivers to come and have a chat to us after such a phenomenal run out there. And that will be our top 3, with Luke Addison taking that second place. Jordan Sherritt, after having a nightmare start to the championship, well, he's had a great run in heat into round 2. So he's going to be quite happy with that. And I look forward to having a chat to him on that matter of how it all went. So, long wait for the rest of them to come through and have a chat to us. We've got to say congratulations once again to Jordan Sherritt, Lucas, and Cody Sherritt on a phenomenal drive. Henry Mayer put up a monster fight to try and stay in it. But Giovanni getting into the battle with Bernard Barkhuizen absolutely slugged it out between the two of them, and eventually coming across the line to finish up. So as we retake a look at some of the highlights of our race and see some of the ongoing battles that we had, charging a bit of chaos at the start, it went and caused a bit of disruption throughout the field, going and putting quite a few cars into the pits for the early works and trying to get themselves sorted out. Well, we do have our third place to come and join us, and that is going to be Cody Sherritt. So we're going to bring him up and say hello. Cody Sherritt, long time no see. Glad that you still know where the commentary box is. Welcome back, first of all. And what a coming back with a bang. Third place on the cards here. How are you feeling after that one?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It wasn't so bad. I unfortunately got a bit of damage from the incident ahead, and I was just trying to manage the rear. But other than that, it wasn't so bad.
Well, I've got to say, absolutely tremendous stuff. Valencia, though, very technical, very difficult circuit. How was the start? It seemed like positioning was absolutely critical to get out and get into the fight, getting that little bit of clean air. You had quite a few times where you got swallowed up into the field. You had to go and fight it out, get elbows out just to get that little bit of free air. I mean, how difficult was it out there?
Yeah, it was tough. I had a very poor start, and then I think around turn 4, I'm not sure what happened, but I got run off into the gravel. I wasn't left any room. I'm not really sure. But after that, I just tried to focus and try to maintain my tires, as the track is a tire killer. And yeah.
Okay, and we got to talk about your 9 lives here, because we saw there was an incident up ahead of you. You just came by, a slight tap on the rear, and you've had the car fishtail. You grabbed it back and kept your foot in it. at that very moment, what went through your head? Because I could tell you, everyone on the grandstand, just you could hear the gasp around the world and in the virtual grandstands of, oh my heavens, is he going to lose a rear? That was a proper heart in throat moment.
Yeah. Initially, I thought I was through, but he must have still carried on spinning, and then when the other side came around, it must have slightly tapped me. But I normally have good reactions, so yeah, it was just from that moment on, just put my head down and try to keep up with the pack ahead.
Oh, absolutely tremendous stuff. Well done and phenomenal work. Third place, though, great points for the championship, especially with this early start. You did miss out round 1, but you made it up for round 2. Before I let you go, is there anything you would like to say to our amazing title sponsor, PokerBet, and our associate sponsors? And to anyone out there, all the petrol heads that are going and cheering you on, glad to seeing you back. But also, you feel free if you want to challenge the drivers out there, if you want to thank people, you're more than welcome. Keep it PG, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to everyone watching, my team, and then PokerBet for giving this league a chance with the prize pool. Makes it interesting for everyone to push and give it their all. And yeah, thanks.
Absolutely tremendous stuff. Cody Sherrod, everybody, former champion right here at RaceFace.Pro before he had his little hiatus during the time. Glad to have you back, Cody, and I look forward to seeing whether you can take the fight up to first place against your brother, Jordan Sherrod.
Thank you.
Great stuff. We've got to say, always fantastic to see moments like that. Well, with that being said, let's bring in our second place driver, and that goes all the way to Luke Addison. So Luke Addison coming into the box. Luke, glad to have you here. What a race. You came off a high from yesterday, the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series, and straight into second place in the race. It was very close for quite some time between you and Jordan, and it looked like you were running opposite strategies in terms of pitting. How was the race for you out there?
Thank you. The race was a bit hectic. I didn't get the quali I wanted to. I was quite surprised with how quickly Barkhazen did his low 6. Yesterday I messed up the start of my race, so today I fixed it a little bit in terms of actually reacting to the green lights this time, which was quite nice. With Cody and I going side by side into T1, there was a little bit of space that I could break into with Jordan going defensive on the inside. Then I just backed off there, kind of followed single file. We were all in the Discord, so I could see that Jordan was looking after his tires. I wanted a little bit of slip from him, but he was just a bit too fast. And then naturally he pulled away because it's Jordan. And then, I was having to worry about Tariq after he got past Barkhazen. We knew that he was very, very fast, and he was a little bit quicker than me. So we kind of just fought to go towards the pit stop phase. Then from there, he unfortunately got taken out by the back marker, and then it was pretty straightforward from there. So, but unfortunate for Tariq.
Well, as they say, one person's misfortune is another person's gold. You've actually gone and usurped into the championship, putting yourself on the top of the cards. Something that you are familiar with is being at the top of the championship, but you also know how difficult it is to maintain, especially that you've got your friends coming at you, former teammates coming at you. What's on the cards now? Valencia's now put in the review mirror, and you're looking forward to the likes of Suzuka. Is going to be your next track to deal with.
I'm surprised that I'm first. That's cool to know. But Suzuka's, I think, a little bit of a struggle track for me. So I'm going to have to see how quali goes. Again, just like from Valencia to Suzuka, very, very quali based, high tire dig. So it's trying to ensure that you nail a really good quali lap, and then ensure that you look after the tires in a long stint. So quali is going to be very, very important.
Oh, absolutely incredible stuff. It's shown that you can keep that consistency. You can keep the tires alive. You did mention that you were looking into it last night. Did a lot of the info you used last night for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series go and move over to tonight, or was it two separate situations?
It definitely helped. The only difference tonight, I think, in the first stint with Jordan ahead of me and the pace of Barkhazen and Tariq and Cody and everyone, it initially seemed like there wasn't as much drop-off, but the drop-off was way worse because I think I pushed the tires a bit too hard at the start, and my drop-off was a lot higher in the first stint. Second stint, because I pitted a little bit later, was a lot more comfortable, didn't push as hard and slowly brought the tires in. So yeah, the first stint had me a bit worried that the second stint might be the same, so I just had to be a bit more careful in the second stint. But the race yesterday definitely did help.
Well, absolutely tremendous stuff. Luke, congratulations on that second place. Congratulations on the fight. And before I let you go, anything you would like to say to our amazing title sponsor, PokerBet, and all our associate partners, but also to the amazing petrol heads out there on the virtual grandstands, shouting ear to ear, deafening every time you guys come by, that are keeping an eye on all the action. Remember to keep it PG, but, well, Luke, we're all racers here. Adding a bit of spice is never a bad thing, especially considering, well, you're now leading the pack of the championship.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone that's working hard behind the scenes, the commentators, the stewarding, the sponsors of PokerBet, RaceFace putting it on. All the competitors drove very well. All the people in the audience watching from various streams and POVs, really appreciate everyone's support. And then to my teammates and everyone in the Discord and all my friends chilling, as well as ITB. And then strong race from Jordan as well as Cody, and unfortunate again for Tariq, and well done to Gio.
Absolutely great stuff. Luke, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations, and go and enjoy the celebrations. You definitely earned it this evening.
Thank you.
Now, Luke Addison going and having a chat. Well, everyone's been waiting for it. We've been calling for it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bringing up to the stage, Jordan Sherrod taking the win for Valencia, round 2 of the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship. Jordan, from misfortune of round 1 to the fortune of round 2, how are you feeling with that one?
It was good. It was good. Finally had a, let's say, a straightforward race where no mistakes happened, and yeah, difficult car on a difficult track combination just because of the nature of the Ford. So it was not easy out there, I would say. It was a lot of work to keep it in front.
Well, let's talk about that. Car selection. Now, you have driven all sorts of vehicles in your time in sim racing, but the Ford Mustang, looking at the calendar, which favors more cars with a bit more rotation to it, like your Ferraris, your Porsches, all having a bit more of legs on it. Why the Ford Mustang? Because you weren't the only driver to decide to go for this make and this front engine monster.
I mean, I just wanted to drive something that I thought would be fun. It's fun at some tracks. This one, it definitely wasn't. But obviously, you know, with the LFM BOP applied, it kind of levels the playing field. Although, again, if a car naturally struggles, it will still struggle, even if the weight helps it in a way. But yeah, it's just I thought I'd choose a car that I would have fun in. Some tracks it is, like Emulate was great. I'll say that. This track was a bit hard work, let's say. Like you know, in the Discord, I'm hearing these guys. They're like, "Oh, I'm pushing. It's all good. The tires are fine." I'm like, "Yeah, sliding everywhere." And I'm like, "Shit."
Yeah, I'm going and crossing arms, and it's like, "Yes, guys, totally, I'm fine. Don't stress about it. Take a deep breath on the way through." I mean, major points scored for round 2, and it's critical to get a good footing to the start of the season. We all know starting off on the right foot does make it a bit better, considering the championship. Next round, Suzuka. Round 4 is Barcelona. Bathurst for round 5. Followed by Watkins Glen, Spa-Francorchamps, and ending off at Silverstone. Looking at the championship going forward, are you feeling positive with the car choice? Are you feeling positive with everything the way it's going? Or is there still that little bit of an itch in the back of the head saying, oh, the grid did close up quite a bit at the start?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to think about it too much, to be honest, and just go race by race, because the more you think about championships, the more pressure you put on yourself. So as long as you go to each round and maximize it, then that's all you can do, and then the championship comes naturally. But I think the Ford will be good at other tracks for sure. I think like a track like Valencia kind of showed the weaknesses of the car, but again, I think coming out on top and pushing through to the next round, I mean, I love Suzuka. It's one of my favorite tracks actually, so looking forward to that one. And I think the rest of the track should be good and not as bad, because naturally the Ford struggles in the slower speed rotation zones where you also need to get onto power. So a track like Valencia basically outlines its weaknesses. So at least the worst one's done, and then it should get easier from here.
Well, Jordan, I've got to say, absolutely an incredible one, but I'm going to bring this up because very few people can talk about racing family on the same track. How difficult is it? I know it's always, you want to help your brother along, you want to help your family member along, but when you are fierce competitors in the way that both you and Cody are, how does it work on track? Do you feel that sense of, I've got to stay ahead here, this is me showing where I stand, or is this a bit of like, well, let's see how it all kind of goes? I know that as fierce competitors, you guys are not afraid to go for the throat if it needs to happen, but at the same time, you are mindful of one another. Give us your thoughts onto that one.
I mean, I don't really think too much about it. Like, at the end of the day, all I want him to do is to do well, right? If he beats me, if I beat him, it doesn't really matter to me. So until that day happens, it's just kind of like he does his own thing, I do mine, and then when it comes to those sort of situations, and you think about it. But I think fair competition and being fair and open about information, knowledge is the best way. And I'm an open book to him, so you can ask me anything if he wants help. It's just I don't really think too much about it. Yeah, and I kind of want him to beat me in a way. So I'm getting older, and I mean I'm not that old compared to a lot of people in this league, but I feel like in terms of the esports level overseas, with everyone being young and fast, I'm kind of fading out these days. So he needs to come in and show me how it's done.
Yeah, but at the same time, as a fierce competitor, it's like, well, I'm not going to give, not money for nothing here. You got to really put a hammer down. Absolutely great stuff. Well, Jordan, before I let you go, anything you want to say to our amazing title sponsor, PokerBet, jumping on board with us, our amazing petrol heads out there. I'm sure as you're going lap by lap, you could see the virtual grandstands, everyone standing on their feet, cheering on for the race, and just seeing all the amazing drivers going out there. Anything you would like to address to them, you feel free to thank people. You can add a bit of spice, but remember, PG-13, eh? Do have a little bit of kids watching, but a bit of competition, a bit of spice in the coffee doesn't make it too bad out there.
I mean, anything I say these days can be taken in the wrong context, so I'd rather just keep it clean. But obviously, without PokerBet and believing in the championship, it wouldn't be possible, and it gives a cool platform for everyone to race and have a reason to race, which is amazing. Obviously, RaceFace, Bertus, you, everyone in the league, obviously everyone on the grid, and obviously LFM, the team 255 competition. I don't know if you knew that's actually LFM's team, and I mean, good racing. On to the next one.
Absolutely. Well, Jordan, I can say on behalf of everyone here in South Africa, the sim racers, glad to have you back, buddy, and keep up the hard work, flying the flag high. We
Awesome.
Absolutely do support it. Jordan Sherrod, everybody, going and taking the win tonight for round 2 here at Valencia. Thank you, Jordan. Oh, wow. Huge times, huge events, but that does bring us to the end of our broadcast. And also joining me here in the commentary box after having a great time with our pro-ams, Tristan, I can tell you, heads were spinning, heads were around, battles up and down through the field, huge moments that changed the whole landscape of the pros, major carnage at the start with all the highs and lows. Valencia is definitely leaving its mark here on the championship and has swapped the championship around. We've so far now got 2 different leaders in 2 different races.
Yeah, I mean the Pro-Am side of things was absolutely incredible. I think this is the biggest pile up I've actually seen in virtual racing history in terms of RaceFace. We had 8 cars piled up at that notorious corner that we were speaking about last night, Stephen, the commentator's cursed corner with those high beam sausage curves. We had a massive carnage accident there, people crashing into each other, multiple people receiving drive-throughs. Valencia claimed victims tonight. It claimed victims way harder than last night at our sprint series, and it's going to continue to do so for the rest of its continuity, but it has provided an amazing platform for some incredible racing. I'm sure it was amazing here at the Pro Division. It was great at the Pro-Am Division. We had Juan Viviers finally receiving some redemption and coming across the line in first position for tonight. So he did an incredible job. Everyone else did an incredible job. It was a fantastic race overall.
Well, I can tell you this. The championship, Tariq Adams was leading the championship going into this race. Well, leaving Valencia, it is now leaning onto Luke Addison. So championship's a bit wide open here for a monumental fight. I do think your Pro-Ams are doing really, really well, but I have to have a bit of pride here and say the pros are really setting the bar, I would think. And heading on to our next track is Suzuka. I'm gonna put the challenge out there to the fans. Which race do you feel was better tonight? Because, well, I'm leaning on, call it favoritism, the pros showing what they could do. And I think, Tristan, you're going to agree with me on that one.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I didn't get to see much of the pro stream. But main point of action for that Pro-Am race was that 8-car pileup. That was very interesting to see. We had a couple of people going off as well in our first turn shenanigans. You know, as soon as people start that car, get the engines roaring down into the first line after that formation lap. But I mean, I gotta say, with the amount of people, new fierce competitors that have joined us here at RaceFace, I have no doubt that that Pro Division was absolutely mental.
All right, well, I'm going to leave it out to the grandstands to let us know. Who do you think is currently leading out the pack in terms of, well, fan favorites? Is it going to be the Pro-Ams? Is it going to be the pros? Let us know down in the comments below. But we're going to say farewell to Valencia. Next week, we head over to Suzuka. But this weekend, we are going to be racing at Bathurst for 12 hours on Saturday, starting at 1 o'clock. We've got to say a massive, massive shout out to our title sponsor, PokerBet, for being a part of the show. A big thank you to them, along with Red Star Raceway, Scallywags, and Extreme Service Center for joining on board with the championship. We're glad to see it all. Going to be exciting, and keep an eye out on all the racing. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon, and let us know which is your favorite, Pro or Pro-Am, Tristan or Steven. Well, we're going to put the challenge out there, and Tristan, whoever gets a win, gets a chocolate milkshake. Deal?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a deal. So I'm just going to sprinkles there.
As long as it's not ice, I'm happy. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we'll see you next time right here at RaceFace.Pro. And like always, from Tristan Herbs and myself here at THC Productions, we'd like to say thank you very much. And we'll always go with it. Say it with me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And Tristan, what do we say?
Good night, everybody.
Cheers, folks. With all the amazing racing that comes to you weekly, we have to give acknowledgement to our sponsors. Without them, this would not be possible here at RaceFace.Pro. So starting off with our first sponsor, let's go and take your hats off to PokerBet. For all the tournaments, for all the cash games, daily free rolls, and sports betting, there's no better place to be and win with PokerBet. With it all revved up and you're looking for high speed, whether you're into drag, drift, or even long circuit, Red Star Raceway has got you covered. If you're looking to upgrade your car or make sure it's running slick and smooth, go and head over to Extreme Service Center to get you that full mile across the race line, or whether you're going good in the dash. Sliding in to keep you on your toes, Scallywags Drift Academy will keep you right at the top of the pack. And if you're looking for all your streaming needs, head over to Tenvo Tech for all the overlays. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been an honor having you. We'll see you next time right here from the THT Productions.